and follow your heart. Run with your dreams, you will go so far. Believe in yourself and follow your heart.
Hey dudes, this is Bandesnaci from Controllerism.com, and today we're going to look at the Novation Launchpad Mini. The Launchpad Mini is part of Novation's new launch family of controllers and iPad apps. As is its big brother, the Launchpad S, the Launch Key and the Launch Key Mini, the Launch Control, and the iPad apps, the Launchpad and Launch Key. The folks at Novation were kind enough to send us a Launchpad Mini, a Launch Control, and a Launch Key Mini to check out. So I'm going to take a look at all three of them, while my friend Sunny Hair is going to take a look at the iPad apps, the Launchpad and the Launch Key, to see how they work with the controllers. The original Launchpad was released in 2009 as a tool designed to work primarily with Ableton Live, which you can tell by looking at the old Launchpad design and even that of the Launchpad S. Even the original ad started with the message saying "ready to play live." However, since then, people have written a ton of scripts designed to make the Launchpad work with other software like FL Studio, Tractor, Reason, or even Max, the visual programming environment for musicians. There's even a mono emulator for the Launchpad called the Nano, meaning that you can run famous patches like MLR on it. Now, the Launchpad Mini is the first iteration of the Launchpad to not have the Ableton logo on it, and it's being marketed as the Launchpad for the iPad generation. So let's take a look at some of the good things about it. The first thing you'll notice is that it's obviously way smaller than the original Launchpad. This small size makes it incredibly portable. Whether you use it with an iPad or a laptop, it's easy to just take them out anywhere and start jamming. I've even heard comments about the smaller size of the Launchpad Mini making it easier to play than the larger version, since you can take it out and play it with your thumbs like this. Kinda reminds me of a game controller, or a Tenarion. Another awesome thing is the class compliance, which means it doesn't need drivers. So now you can connect it not only to iPads and other tablets, but also to microcomputers like the Raspberry Pi or Qbox, which means it's very hacker friendly. Lately, Novation have been trying to distance the Launchpad from being seen as an exclusive Ableton Live controller. And although there are lots of scripts meant to make it very usable with other software, one of the main draws of the Launchpad Mini is the fact that it retains the original functionality that the Launchpad Classic came out. The way the original Launchpad works with Live is, in my honest opinion, the best native controller integration with Live this side of the Ableton push. For anyone not familiar with it, here's how it works. You get a session mode for launching clips, 2 user modes meant for playing notes or mapping to whatever you want, and a mixer overview mode meant for controlling volumes, pans, and sends. The session mode is a direct mirror of the clips in Ableton Live's session view, and it's what the Launchpad excels at, launching clips, just like the name suggests. As a good demonstration of that, Median's famous pop culture video is composed mostly out of launching clips. User 1 mode sends MIDI note messages, which means that you can use it to play drum racks or any other instrument. While you don't get LED feedback in this mode natively, it's very easy to set up live so that each button on the Launchpad lights up as you press it. Using the Launchpad primarily in User 1 mode is made famous by Emperor Sonic and his live performance videos. User 2 mode is meant as a clean slate, where you can do whatever else you want, like integrating a master live patch or just mapping device parameters in Live into it. My current 2 Launchpad setup has one Launchpad always in User 2 mode, which I use to select the instruments I'm playing and assign mutes, sends, or various effects I've mapped. The Mixer Overview mode is meant more as a starting page for jumping to other pages, like the volume controls, or the panning, or A and B sends. You can set everything back to its default value in the main mixer page, as well as arming tracks for recording, solo them, or stopping clips on a particular track. This integration with Ableton Live was a complete game changer when the Launchpad first came out in 2009, and it still retains a large part of its appeal today. It's incredibly easy to use and it takes virtually no time to set up, especially since Ableton Live 9 has started recognizing controllers automatically and the respective scripts. Moving on, it's worth mentioning that the lights of the Launchpad Mini are brighter than those of the Launchpad Classic, which is good for people that need to play in well-lit areas a lot, like I do. Weirdly enough, the smaller, cheaper Launchpad seems to me a bit more solid than the full-size version. Aside from this strange micro USB slot at the side, which I call strange although I couldn't come up with a better idea for it myself, the Launchpad Mini seems very durable. The upper plate seems better bound at the bottom, the buttons are less clicky, and it even seems heavier in relation to its size. However, the single greatest draw of the Launchpad Mini must be the fact that all of the advantages that I've just listed are combined with a street price of exactly $99 US. As with the original Launchpad, Novation have really raised the bar when it comes to the accessibility of very versatile gear. There is simply no other grid controller that does as much for the same price, especially when it comes to working with Ableton Live. When it comes to grievances about the Launchpad Mini, the only problems aren't about what it is or what it does, but rather about what it doesn't do. There are two main points, the first of which being the fact that it's got buttons and not pads, which means there's no velocity sensitivity. A lot of people have voiced the need for this, but it seems pretty easy to get over given the multitude of Launchpad sample playing videos on the net, including my live dubstep Controllerism video with close to 500,000 views. The second grievance refers to the lack of RGB buttons. Although the lights on the Launchpad Mini are brighter, they can't show the full range of colors, and one could definitely see the advantages of having that, like being able to see the colors of clips like on the Push and a lot of other cool uses. Even so, you can still use it to put on a pretty cool light show, and it's not as if it's limited to one single color like a lot of other older controllers. All that being said, even if Novation were to release a Launchpad with velocity-sensitive pads and RGB buttons, that would definitely drive the prices up. And that would mean losing part of the accessibility that I just spent 3 minutes praising. Besides this, an awesome way to use the Launchpad Mini is to run a script extending its functionality, like the Launchpad 95, which we covered a few months ago and which is free to download. The fact that you can get 90% of the functionality of a controller like the Ableton Push but for just under $100 is really saying something. So what does this all mean? Well, my honest opinion is this. There is no button grid controller in the $100 price range right now that can beat the versatility of the Novation Launchpad Mini. For anyone considering playing around with controllerism, hacking something with lots of buttons, or just launching clips next to other pieces of gear, I think the Launchpad Mini is definitely worth checking out. And as such, it gets a full soaring thumbs up. Be sure to check out our other Novation launch range reviews on our YouTube channel, and feel free to subscribe or check out www.Controllerism.com for more entertaining info on cool musical gear. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day.